We good? Welcome to the stream, everyone. It's Kris. Good to see you all watching. Thank you for coming. And so, you're probably wondering two things. First, Kris, why is your webcam quality so crappy? I'll get to that. Secondly, why aren't you in your office? Don't you normally do things in your office? I'll get to that too. But first, I just wanted to let everyone know I am, in fact, outside. The only place I could smoke a cigar here. And because of that, I'm out here with the mosquitoes, the wild dogs, children, velociraptors, black flies, and the dinosaurs. So any ambient noise that you do hear on here, please excuse. I've got the trusty travel headphone microphone here, so hopefully it's not too bad. I don't think it'll pick up too much. But welcome, millennials, entrepreneurs, boomers, Gen Xers, Gen Y. Welcome one and all. And so, to my next point here, where am I? I am actually 2 hours away from my house at my parents' house here. And my dad recently learned that he got prostate cancer a couple of months ago. And so about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks, he had the surgery to remove his prostate. And so everything's going well. I don't need your sympathy, but he is doing very well. Recovering great. He's up and walking around. I think he drove the other day. So, but he does actually own a landscaping company. And as many of you know, landscaping is difficult work. So I'm up here helping him run it, trying to streamline things here. And I'll be up here for another couple of weeks, possibly, potentially, even a month. It just depends, you know. But yeah, anyway, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'll do this every Sunday. Rain or shine, sick, healthy. Even if I got a broken arm, I'll do it anywhere. So, let's see here. What are we smoking here? We have a Macanudo Petit Corona Cafe, I believe. I was going to smoke a giant Cru Royale by Macanudo as well, but it was huge. It's 6 inches by 60 gauge, which is like giant, and I'd be out here for like 3 hours. It's going to be dark soon, so figured I'd grab a Petit. I looked in my humidor, and this was a small one. So, yeah. So anyway, while I'm up here, my dad, actually, he's got a couple employees, and I wanted to start off with a little anecdote about that. And you've seen a lot in small businesses. You know, when you start yourself, you do everything yourself. When you first start out, when you're an entrepreneur, start a business, you wear every hat there is. You're the accountant, you're the janitor, you're everything. You're the CEO, but you're also the guy that has to clean the toilets, right? Then you hire employees because it's the only way to expand. You get contracts. You can't do all the work yourself. But eventually, you kind of, if you're used to doing all the work yourself, you're used to doing everything yourself, it's very difficult to relinquish control. I can definitely testify to that. And especially in a business that, you know, you have to outsource the important things eventually. The things that, let's say, a main office of a government, of a township, somewhere where the head boss goes every single day. Eventually, you're going to run out of yourself. And so you have to outsource that to employees. And my dad has had a little bit of a problem with that, as anyone would. I myself included. It's difficult to outsource. But that's the only way to expand. And it's great, you know, when you do everything yourself, you get to do a real good job. You're in control of everything. But eventually you have to learn to delegate. And if you don't, Jim Collins actually in Good to Great calls this, I don't need these notes, I just have them. Jim Collins calls this the genius with 1,000 helpers model. And that is basically going off the concept that any CEO, his most important job is to find a successor, because otherwise your company's doomed. It's not going to continue to produce in the future. You can be the world's best CEO. I think Lee Iacocca of Chrysler had a similar problem. He was great. He was a great CEO. Chrysler did excellent under him. But then he got, I believe he took a sabbatical. He started a winery, a vineyard, I believe, in Florence, Italy. And he got distracted, left the company. Chrysler started going down. Their stock reflected that. Their productivity, everything got disorganized. And then he came back a second time, I believe. But I don't think that he's still. I know the next CEO in line actually just passed away. So I don't believe that he actually did end up finding a suitable successor. But that is the biggest job of any CEO. Publicly traded companies, private companies, whatever. You're eventually going to die. We all die. We have a very short time on this earth. If you want to build a brand like Walgreens, like Chrysler, like, what am I thinking here? Toyota. You have to put the company first. And that includes acknowledging your own mortality. And yeah, so eventually, we're going to have to kind of restructure this business. And that's kind of what I'm up here for. I apologize if I sound congested. I've been out mowing all day and breathing in the dust in the grass. So excuse me for that. But anyway, on to my next point. The book of the week is, I actually read this probably 10 times at least, just because it's such a great book. It's called Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. And a lot of people know him. Great guy, sales trainer, does great work. The reason I listened to it actually on Audible as an audiobook. And he narrates all his own books, which is excellent, I think, because he knows what tonality to use on which parts of the book. And so it kind of starts out, it's a sales manual. Be obsessed or be average. Basically, the premise of the book is everybody's obsessed with something. How do we channel that into something productive rather than something destructive, like alcohol or drugs? And he does actually delve a little bit into his past, talking about drug use and stuff. And it's a little bit of a biography, the first couple chapters. And so it's very interesting, different than previous books. And let's see here. He also talks, obsessions. Obsession is not a bad thing. It's become kind of a bad word in our society. If you're obsessed with something, if you're obsessed with a girl, people tell me all the time, Kris, you're obsessed with Haley. I'm like, yeah, I am. Why is that a bad thing? You're obsessed with work. Yeah. Why is that a bad thing? Why do we have to be mild? Why does everybody have to be mild? Why does everybody just have to be normal? Steve Jobs lived, breathed, everything Apple. Look at him. You would call him obsessed. Now we have the iPhone. That's the only way to get anything done. And so he talks a lot about that. Being obsessed with the right things, of course. And one way to cultivate that obsession, he talks about this in every single book, I think. Write your goals down every single day. Morning, evening too. I normally just do it in the morning. But it's a great way to keep focused on what you want. And it's a constant reminder of the choices that you have to make. Okay, if you have choice A and choice B, which one is going to take me closer to my goal? It can be difficult, especially in business, when you're just starting out, or even if you're years in business. Which choice do I make? There's no rules. There's no boss above you telling you anything, telling you what decision to make, telling you what to do. And so if you write your goals down every single day and you're constantly reminded of them, it becomes very simple to make any decision because you analyze them, both choices. And sometimes it's cloudy still. But choice A, go to the strip club. Choice B, go to the library or church or backpacking. The goal is, where am I going to meet my future wife? Strip club? Probably not for most people. So let's go to the library. Let's go to the church. Let's go somewhere where good women flock. I don't know. I'm not in the dating scene. Go where your goals are. Take the road that will lead there. And he also talks about commitment. Commitment is a big thing. He used the metaphor, I believe, when you're finding a parking spot, you don't go to a parking spot, look at it, decide if you want to park there, go in a little bit, test it, go in, actually park, get out of the car, look around for another parking spot. No, you go straight in there, you park, you forget about it. And I think that's a very powerful metaphor for things that we do in life. Let's say relationships. Once you find a girl, don't look for any more. Commit. Even if they're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, people. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has flaws. Just commit, overlook them, and stay busy. Stay busy. Because if you're left alone with your wife for 6 hours and you don't have a hobby, you're not working, you're only working, 40 hours a week like normal, and you're not obsessed with something, you guys have time to dwell on each other's flaws. And so I believe that, Winston Churchill had a great marriage of over 60 years, I believe. And to his wife, Clementine. They took separate vacations, actually. They individually, he would go to, I don't know where, say the south of France, probably not in the 1940s, but maybe, let's say, before that, and she would go to Spain, and they would do it separately, and they would vacation separately, but they had a very strong relationship, and you can look at the letters that they sent back and forth, and it was like the eternal flame. It was just, commitment. If you're going to start a business, start a business. If you're going to start a business in, let's say, e-commerce, open a Shopify store. Don't then go and do some stupid network marketing thing on the side. Divert all your attention. If you're going to do it, do it. If you're going to go all in, go all in. If you're going to be obsessed with something, be obsessed with it. Eat it. Drink it. Shower in it. Sleep with it. It should keep you up at night. Commit them. YouTube. And this was me for a while. I forget what they call it. There's a term for it. The one I'm thinking of is not correct, I don't believe. But, there's so many opportunities out there. There really are. There's no reason to not have an opportunity, okay? There are opportunities to make money everywhere. There's e-commerce stores. There's social media management businesses you can get into. There's ads. It's amazing. There's AdWords. There's AdSense. There's YouTube. There's influencer marketing. There's absolutely a plethora of everything. There's MLM. There's door-to-door sales. There's traditional jobs, brick-and-mortar businesses. But if you look at that, it's so overwhelming. What you have to do is be narrow-minded in that sense. Pick one, even if it's not the right one. Pick it, do it. It will become the right one. I guarantee you. Everybody talks about multiple streams. I don't believe in that. I believe you have to go all in on one or two or a few. Just like Mark Cuban says, diversification is for, I think he said idiots. Sounds kind of simple, but it's for people that basically don't have the time or the desire to look at each individual investment, analyze them, and then pick one to go all in on. And so his point is that, the great thing about owning 200 different stocks in a mutual fund is that some are bound to go up. But the bad thing about owning 200 stocks in a mutual fund is that some are also bound to go down, and some may go out of business. But if you pick one, it can either go, it can only go one of two directions, up or down. And if you do research, let's say you were researching Apple back in the day when they just started. I know that information wasn't as readily available, but let's say Facebook right now. Look at all the lawsuits. Biggest drop in stock market history. And we're talking about the market. This could be real estate or anything. But pick one. And we were talking about business originally. If you're going to do Shopify, but do it all the way. Put all of your energy into it. I see these guys that make like 3 sales a day or 3 sales a week even sometimes on a Shopify store. And I'm like, dude, run ads, You've got a job, you've got money, you can put more into that. They're like, no, I'm doing this other thing, Forex or something. Like, what? Why? Make it work first. Before you move on to your next investment, you have to make it work, And I know it's tough. You want to do everything because you see people making money in all these different spaces. But they're making money there because they picked that industry and that industry alone, and that is why they're making money. They went all in. They were obsessed with it. And that's why they're making money. Had some talking points about the cigar I was going to smoke. I'll take questions if anybody wants to type them in. I'm not sure how many viewers I have, but cigar went out here. It's talking too much. Yeah, so also, I almost lost a client this weekend. He emailed me, said we're taking a break. And I say almost. I scheduled a meeting with him to renegotiate. Some money is better than no money. And sometimes you have to do that in business. You have to learn to compromise. But not in matters of, let's say, a relationship. Ethics, morality, never compromise morality. But in business, you can compromise on deals sometimes. My neighbor's kid's yelling. Yeah, so losing a client, let's talk about that. I've lost clients in the past before. As I said before, I don't even think I introduced myself. I'm Kris Schwieman. My name's on the stream. You know me. I do SEO consulting, web design, digital advertising for small businesses. I had a client in Detroit, Michigan, email me on Friday and tell me that they're taking a break from their online marketing. And I've made him thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. Probably at least $100,000 by now, if we're talking about revenue. Because we've been together about 10 months. So you figure, all the business that I've brought in. He's an orthodontist. I won't say anymore. But, he said, look, Kris, we're taking a break. Sorry, we just have to reevaluate our online presence. And people get scared. It's his first year in business. People get scared, and you just sometimes immediately everybody jumps to, oh, well, you're charging too much. It's too much money. No, that's normally not the case. They might say it's the case, but the real reason that he's backing out is because he's scared. He's scared that he's spending that much money. He's scared that, well, it's his first year in business, like I said. Maybe rightfully so. Maybe he should be scared. But I don't think so. I think it's normal. I don't think it's right. He's scared of, the increasing commissions that I get because he pays me per client. And he's scared of those building up. And so he wants to cut me. But if he cuts me, there goes his revenue. There's nobody to manage his AdWords campaign. And so what you really need to do is just put people's mind at ease. Spend some time with them. And this is huge. CRM, Customer Relations Management. They have software for this, Salesforce, Forget the other one. I used it when I sold mutual funds and insurance. But stay in touch. Stay in touch. You want to be, you don't have to be friends with the guy, but, you know, send him a Christmas card. If he's Jewish, send him a Hanukkah card. I think they sell those. I'm not Jewish. I'm sure they do. Hallmark makes money on every holiday, even Best Friends Day. But yeah, stay in touch. Be sure to call him, you know, at least once a month, you know, just so he can hear your voice, so you're not a shadow, because it's very more important in business than actually doing the work is communicating with the client what work you've actually done. And that is huge. Even if you do less than even if you're only able to do less than was agreed upon, get some more tea here. If you communicate very well, you type up an Excel spreadsheet, you put together a graph, you know, communicating the results and showing, look, I got you 7 new clients this month. Pretty dang good for your second month in business. And you're number 1 for these keywords, okay? And so play to your strengths, of course, you know. I mean, if you're, you know, if you're dating and I don't know where I was going with that. Live stream here. Anyway, no questions here yet. I think I might end it at 25 here. I'm getting off on a tangent. But yeah, I enjoy doing this. My goal for this is just if anybody ever has a question as we grow here. Right now we're extremely small. But as we grow, you know, if anybody has a question about business, about my industry, anybody is, you know, kind of wondering what direction they should go in, I'm happy to give my opinion. And I'm not selling anything. I'm doing this for fun. You know, I love talking about business, as I always say. I think it's a very interesting topic. I could talk about business for hours. And entrepreneurship, starting a business, dropping out of college, that's what I did. And it was the best decision of my life. But the thing that I was going to say here, cigarettes and cigars. 2 completely different things. Everybody always gets after me for smoking cigars, the occasional cigar. I smoke like 1 a week, by the way. In cigarettes, I believe there are over 4,000 ingredients. In cigars, there is 1 ingredient, tobacco. Cigarettes have arsenic, everything, formaldehyde, you name it, it's probably in there. Magnesium, something. They put additives in there. There's a great movie with Russell Crowe about the cigarette industry and stuff. So check that out. You know, look it up. I forget the name. I watched most of it once, and it's very educational. But cigars, you know, also you don't inhale. You inhale cigarettes straight to your lungs, which is crazy because you have, you know, all those chemicals. If you're going to inhale something, inhale a cigar, but that's not how you smoke a cigar. And if you do, you're probably going to get sick unless you're a heavy cigarette smoker and you're used to inhaling. But our lungs are not meant to inhale smoke. And so cigars, you do it for the taste. And it's definitely very relaxing to sit out on your porch, hang out. I do it when I'm writing a lot. It spikes my creativity. I believe I've said that before. And it really is a hobby. More than even smoking cigars, I enjoy learning about the history, learning about the, you know, these businesses that fled communist, socialist, whatever you want to call it, Cuba, and went to the Dominican Republic or Venezuela or Nicaragua. And then they started rolling there. And it's interesting to look at the history of these brands. And also, you know, the flavor is completely different. On, you know, these tobacco plants that are grown in different locations of the country, the countries. And also, did you know that you have 2 tobacco plants 4 feet apart. One's in the shade, one's in the sun. The one in the shade will be far milder and less strong than the one that's grown in the sun. So some cigar thoughts for you guys that are into cigars. I don't smoke them every day, but once a week. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm going to cut this off. I think I'm going to promote this a little more next time. And feel free, hopefully you guys watch the replay. And hit the subscribe button too, definitely. And the notification bell so you can get notified every time I'm going live. It'll be every Sunday, 7 or 8 p.m. And I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.